Insert generic Five Nights at Freddy's joke, and we're moving, and we're moving. The Little Panda Fighter. Okay, wow, this is a rare specimen in animation. I can't even think of a witty way to begin this review. I mean, the most obvious thing I can really say is that it's obviously trying to cash in on DreamWorks' Kung Fu Panda, as in it came out at the same time as the original movie just went into cinemas, and the only two things I think that really resemble it is the fact it's about a panda and it has something to do with fighting. Instead of Kung Fu, it's about boxing. So, as you may have guessed, this review is going to be pretty hard, so I suppose the best way to start this thing is by talking about the story, because that's what I always do to start with, right? So we have this club called the Bear Bar Box, which is in the middle of nowhere. Bear Bar Box, the BBB, that sounds racist for some reason. Which kind of works as a bar, but it also has a boxing ring in it. Okay. Where our main character, Pancada, works. Pancada, alright then. He has a crush on another bear called Honey. Fuck, Jesus! Okay, that's scary. And works for his boss and the club's owner, who is a polar bear named Mr. Polonius. Oh, wait, sorry, his name's not Polonius, it's Polaris. Pancada? Polaris? What's with these names? Aha! Hilarious. So, from what I could gather, this movie is about a panda who dreams about becoming a dancer. Not a boxer, a dancer. Yeah, apparently he finds it too violent. Okay, that's already confusing. In Kung Fu Panda, Po wanted to be a master in Kung Fu, and the movie is his journey becoming that. In this, Pancada wants to dance, and he's already really bad at dancing, but that's besides the point, rather than be a boxer. So, what's the point in calling the little panda fighter? Anyway, meanwhile, there's a fighter that's been winning every fight for the last 2 years that's causing them to lose business. And Polaris, an ex-champion boxer, wants to get rid of him by beating him in a fight, but...
What I wouldn't do to get back in the ring. I'd show that thunder chump a thing or two.
Don't even think it. You get back in the ring and you lose the club. Don't forget, it's in the contract you signed.
Yeah, I know. I'd lose the club, as if you'd let me forget.
So after that exposition dump, Pancada talks to Polaris, which gives him the idea to disguise himself as the Great Bear of Mystery, to fight the champ. But Pancada, the dumbass, accidentally shrank his costume so it resembles the fur of a panda. So everybody thinks that Pancada's the one who beat the champ, so he's treated like a hero, but ultimately feels bad for it, so he decides to face the champ himself. And there's a side plot about Pancada wanting to try it for a dance school, and it goes absolutely nowhere. There's no reason for that to be there, it's just a waste of our time. Yeah, this film would only be about 20 minutes long if you took out all the dancing stuff. So, as you can probably imagine, this plot is pretty hard to explain in detail. I know, by the way, I've just explained it. It sounds pretty straightforward and flowing, even though it's probably very predictable. But that was me describing it in the way it made the most sense. That's not actually how the story goes. Some of the plot elements seem to play it out of order. Okay, bear with me as I try to explain this. Ha! So, Polaris wants to fight the champ, but he can't, otherwise he'll lose the club. So he brings out an old costume of his to disguise himself so he can fight without losing the club. Even though it doesn't disguise him at all. Behold! The great YouTuber of mystery! Be very afraid. God, at least wear a mask or something. So, as you can predict, the dumbass panda makes the costume shrink, but here's the confusing part. Now, I know I'm playing these clips in order to make them seem the most sense, but this is how it actually goes. So, Polaris gives him the suit, Pancada goes to wash it, there's a newspaper article about the upcoming fight, and you can see Polaris' suit has already shrunk. And somehow this happened immediately after he got the idea to do this, and he put it in the wash, so how the hell is there a newspaper article about it? Was the costume in the wash for like a day or 2 days or so? Then it shows him going into the ring, and the costume has still shrunk, well, and others confuse him for Pancada. The fight begins, and then the suit shrinks. Yup, this movie just gave space and time the middle finger. So yes, this movie clearly doesn't care about its continuity. It's pretty astonishing, really. I mean, how did they do that? I'm actually more impressed than angry at this point. I know they had to show the costume shrink and have the others see it to make sure they thought it was Pancada, but there had to be a smarter way of doing this. Couldn't they have shown Polaris about to go in the ring standing by himself and just outside of everybody, but then he notices it shrink? But there's no time to do anything, so he just goes out and wings it. I mean, that would be better than just this. So by now you've probably noticed that the animation is horrifying. The characters look simply uncanny and hardly resembling anything to do with bears. Also, some characters have 4 fingers, some have 3, and some have 2. That's confusing. The character animation is choppy at best, and the textures seem to squash and stretch along with the characters' movements. Ugh, that's just unnatural. Also, a little nitpick. Why is this suit shown as a 1-piece here, but then it's a 2-piece when he goes into the ring? The lip syncing barely exists. Now, I know this thing came from Brazil and had to be dubbed, but even by Brazilian standards, I don't think the lips ever matched. Also, I think something might have gone wrong with the animation's code, as it constantly looks like the character's jaws is about to drop out their mouth at any moment. Either that or they're wearing dentures. Also, there's this one bear that obviously has a bogey hanging from his nose, and it's just... ugh. I don't quite know what else to say about the animation. It's just awful, in any sense of the word. It rivals Food Fight with how bad it is. Another thing that rivals it is the editing. I mean, I'm not going to touch anything, I just want you to have a look at these scenes. I did not edit that. That's exactly what happened there. And watch this. No, I didn't just mute the video and play music over it. That's actually how it happened. By the way, if anyone's wondering about the Kung Fu elements in this movie, the only things that ever come close to it are the fighting, and the Pancada's dance instructor looks and talks like a Kung Fu master. That's about it. And it's the bare minimum as well. And even that's saying a lot. I suppose I should also mention the characters. Well, all I can really say is that all of them are really poorly written, and most of them are very unlikable. Are you surprised? I don't like any of them. Pancada's dumb, Honey's shallow and petty, Mr. Grizzlepuss has no reason to be here, Teddy Thunders gets one line, although to be honest he did get probably the best laugh in the whole thing.
Shaking tonight.
And Pancada's dance instructor is totally useless. So yeah, I don't like any of these guys. Maybe except for Polaris. I mean, I don't mind his design, I don't mind his voice, and truthfully, he's got a more interesting backstory than Pancada, since it was said that he was an ex-boxer and he's trying to get back in the ring under a disguise to save his club from going under. Wouldn't that be a more interesting story than some dumb panda wanting to dance? Wait, why do I care so much? This movie stinks. Speaking of dumb pandas, Pancada is rubbish as a main protagonist. He screws up everything, he's really stupid, and ultimately, kind of manipulative. I mean, watch this scene where he explains to Polaris that he wants to fight the champ.
It's a matter of personal pride, you see? Pancada, you're not a fighter. You're a dancer. Leave the fighting to me. All I want you to do now is sign this challenge card.
I'll sign it. But I'm telling you, I'm the one who fights.
Haven't you been listening? I'm not letting you near that ring. You got that? I fought Thunders the last time, I'm going to fight him this time, and I don't want to hear any more from you.
Mr. Polaris, I am prepared to blow the whistle to everybody, including the papers. Unless you unconditionally allow me to go into the ring against Teddy Thunders.
Isn't that kind of a villainous thing to do? I know the moral of the movie is trying to tell us is to be yourself and play to your strengths, but when you think about it, Pancada's the one getting the better deal here. Polaris goes into the fights, probably getting himself beaten up in the process, and Pancada reads all the rewards and takes all the credit. Why wasn't this movie about Polaris? He's the one doing all the hard stuff in here. I mean, they could have had it that Pancada, who likes the attention, forces Polaris to keep up the charade, otherwise he'll blow the whistle and his club will be shut down, causing him to lose everything. It could have been a commentary on whether or not it's better to follow your passion and relive the glory days, or step down because it's better for others. Wait, why am I looking so hard into this movie? Why do I keep trying to think of better plots for things? I should just stick to my own stuff. Oh, by the way, you know how I said I don't mind Polaris' voice? Well, that's because he's the only one that seemed to have a proper voice actor, rather than whoever they got to do the others.
You better watch yourself, Pancada.
It's very popular.
Lucky he's wearing a mask. That way no one will know who he is when he inevitably bites the dust.
No, what's wrong with you? Are you really that stupid? I'm talking about what's inside. That is your essence.
All the voices sound like they were done in one take, and it's odd how they sometimes speak too fast, but then they also speak too slow. I don't know if it's trying to match the syncing of the lips, or they're trying to match what was said by the Brazilian actors, but I really don't know. It just comes off awkward and stilted. I mean, I could probably act better than this. I don't even know what else to say. This is just a really bad movie. I mean, what else should I expect from Video Benquedo? I know I probably butchered how that's pronounced, but I'm sorry, I really don't know. I don't know, it's just a bad movie, and it'll always be bad. I mean, there are good rip-offs out there. I mean, Chopkick Panda is actually not a bad movie, but this is bottom of the barrel. They clearly just wanted to cash in. I mean, even the box art looks a lot like Kung Fu Panda. I mean, look at it. Still look off-putting and creepy, but still, it looks similar. It looks better than anything that's actually in the movie. But anyway, I really don't have much more to say about this movie. I think I've said it's all that needs to be done. That's the thing with bad movies. It's kind of hard to pick them apart, if you know what I mean. But I've done my best, and I guess that's all that can really be done. So, yeah, all I can really say is, well, just avoid this movie. It isn't worth your time.
You're yanking my fur again, ain't ya?
So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day. Thanks, guys. Cheers.